So here we are taking a look at the setup for Covert's NBF30. And as always, you need to have your AA batteries inserted and pay attention to your positive and negative terminals. Make sure they're facing the right way. And on the bottom right here, you will find your SD card slot. And an SD card has to be inserted in order for the camera to work properly. And this camera will hold up to a 32 gigabyte card. Once you're ready to dive into the menu and begin setup, we'll set it to the middle setting. And to browse around the LCD screen and understanding what your icons are, far left we have the camera icon, which will indicate whether you are in photo mode or video mode. Over here it's showing 30 megapixels. That's showing the megapixels we have chosen inside the camera for the quality of the photo. We have the amount of photos taken and the amount of photos the inserted SD card will allow to be taken on this card, your battery percentage, the time of day, and the date. Now let's climb inside the menu of the camera. Inside of the menu, you have your 4 sub-menus at the top. And the first one being your general settings, here's where we can choose our camera mode. So once we've highlighted the option we want to choose, we'll hit OK. And in here you can choose photo, video, or photo and video. And the specifics for each one of these settings will be set inside these other sub-menus for photos and for videos, which we'll get to here shortly. Your PIR interval, so this will be your trigger intervals. You can switch that on or off. And if we toggle down and highlight interval and click OK, here you can choose how many minutes or seconds, or minutes and seconds we'd like between each photo. And once we've set that, we hit OK to lock it in. This camera also has time-lapse mode. Once we toggle down and choose that, we can choose to turn that on or off. And if we turn it on, it's then going to give us the interval settings. We can toggle down, click OK, and here we can set the hours, minutes, and seconds that we'd like in between each time-lapse photo. And once that is locked in, we can hit OK, hit menu to go back to the main menu, and continue on down. Our PIR sensitivity. Here we have our low, normal, and high. In most cases, you're going to be using normal for your sensitivity settings. However, if you find yourselves in higher temperature settings, you can use high, and in lower or colder temperatures, you can use the low setting. But for now, we'll leave it on normal, choose OK, and again, moving on down, you can choose flash power. Flash power high versus low. And last on this menu is the work time, and here you can set the time of day if you desire specific times of day for the camera to operate. If not, you'll leave this setting off. If you choose to set work times inside of that menu, you will be able to set a work time 1 start and stop and 2. So for instance, if you wanted to set your camera to come on in the morning and turn off mid to late morning and come on again in the evening and turn off somewhere just around dark, you could set 2 different work time on and off here. Otherwise, you would just simply go to work time, choose off, and click OK. Now moving over to the second sub-menu, this will be your photo menu where you can choose your photo size, the photo burst, and the shutter speed. First, taking a look at photo size, this camera can shoot up to 30 megapixel photos. And if you're looking to get more images on an SD card, you can reduce the size accordingly. But I like to get the most out of my camera, so we're going to leave that on 30 megapixels for now. Toggle down to photo burst, hit OK. And here you can choose how many photos per trigger you would like the camera to take, up to 10 photos per trigger. Shutter speed, there are 3 options here. You can choose between a 15th, a 20th, and a 30th. 1/20th of a second is by default and is most typical. However, if you'd like to get a little bit more light or flash power, you can choose 1/15th. And if you like a little less motion blur, if you're getting motion blur in your images, you can speed that up to 1/30th of a second. If we've chosen video mode in our camera mode setting, and we come over to our video settings, you'll now see that these are highlighted. We can choose our video size, and here you have 2 settings, 1920 by 1080. That is, of course, your higher quality video file and is going to take up more room on your SD card. Or you have your 1280 by 720, going to get more clips per SD card, but a little bit lower quality. In this case, we're going to leave it on 1920 by 1080. we're going to go down to our video length. This is often personal preference, but here you can set the length of the video per trigger. So every time that camera triggers and takes a video clip, how long do you want it to record for? And in this case, we can go all the way up to 60 seconds. From 10 and 5-second increments all the way up to 60 seconds. And for now, we'll leave it on 30. Love this feature. This camera also captures audio, and here you can choose to turn that on or off. We're going to go ahead and leave it on. And lastly is Smart Video. Now, here you can turn this on or off. And what Smart Video Mode is it's a feature that will allow a daytime video clip to keep recording as long as the camera detects movement during filming. If the subject stands still in front of the camera and the camera does not detect any movement, then the camera will end the video clip at the designated time that you've chosen in the setup menu. So really cool feature, and you do have the option to turn it on or off. And lastly, we slide over to the system menu. Here's where you can set your clock, your time format, camera name, all of these types of features. So to set up clock, you'll click OK. Go into your date format. How would you like the date and time to appear? I particularly like month, day, and year, so we'll set that. And then from here, we can go in to set our clock. Year is 2020. Month is August. The day is the 17th. And the time is, in fact, 6:12 p.m. Once you get it set, you can hit OK, and then hit menu to go back. Our time format, we do have the 12 or 24-hour option. Once you've chosen that, hit OK. You can rename your camera here by choosing OK, and you can give it a unique name with a 13-character max. Here you can choose timestamp on or off. You can also choose a customized password so that no one can enter your camera or utilize your camera without that password. Now, I will caution you, be sure to write this password down, keep a copy of it in your phone, in your truck, wherever it may be handy to you. Do not forget this password. Continuing down, we have an auto power off setting, and if we hit OK here, we have 4 options, and it's off, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and 10 minutes. And what this is when you're in setup mode, it will allow the screen to go into sleep mode after 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes if nothing is going on. Let's say you walk away from the camera, you're doing something else. This way you're not wasting battery power while in setup mode. Or you can turn that off. If you're not worried about that and saving battery, you can just turn that off completely. But once you've chosen that setting there, you hit OK and move on. We have language settings. SD overwrite. Once again, this is allowing the camera to overwrite photos on the SD card if the card were to fill up. So only an option I'd use if I'm unable to get in to check the camera and take the photos off of that SD card or swap out the SD cards. We can format our SD card. Always suggested to format your SD card in the camera. And remember, once you choose this and you click yes, this is going to delete all of the data on that SD card. So be sure you're ready to remove all that data before you click the yes button, and it will format your card. Lastly, we have our default settings. So you can choose this if you'd like to go back to all of the camera's factory default settings. And your system. System is going to show your firmware update and firmware version. Always be sure to keep your firmware up to date. And if in fact you need a firmware update, once you get that file, what you're going to do is copy that new firmware file onto the SD card, insert the SD card into your camera, push the switch to setup, press menu, into the menu mode, highlight system, highlight the system option, press OK. Now, choosing the firmware update option, press OK and choose yes. This will update the camera based on the file that you've copied onto that SD card. And that does it for our setup on the Covert NBF30. Once you're ready to take photos, switch the camera to the on position and close up the camera.